to become an enabler of space science, research and exploration from the space technology point of view that we are working in VSSC and ISRO in general. So that way, as a director of VSSC, I have immense
Thank you, sir. Dr. K. Shivan, Chairman ISRO, is the driving force of ISRO who meticulously plans and executes all the missions and projects of ISRO. He has held several key positions like Director.
Assembled here at the auspicious occasion of celebrating the Golden Jubilee of Space Physics Laboratory, which has been doing pioneering research in space science, including upper atmospheric phenomenon and interplanetary science. The International Geophysical Year during 1957-58 was an exciting period for the global scientific community involved in the upper atmosphere and geomagnetism studies. This enabled our beloved founder, Dr. Sarabhai, to sow the seeds of the space research and space technology in the country. All of you know well Dr. Sarabhai's relentless efforts in establishing TERS as an international launching site for sounding rockets to study upper atmospheric dynamics has also led the country towards becoming a major spacefaring nation with the capability of building satellites, launching them, and also derive societal benefits from the various space applications for national development and security. Was also extended to the development of innovative payloads for our flagship programs like lunar and Mars orbiter missions, which continue to contribute and enrich the knowledge of the global scientific community. Throughout this journey, research related to the middle and upper atmosphere and the investigation of other planetary environment. When the common man identifies the rockets and satellites as the symbols of space technology development in the country, including Ladakh, Andamans, Northeast and Lakshadweep, Northeast, North and South poles, as well as the Himalayas. SPL is a veteran when it comes to leading multi-agency, large-scale science. In this era of renewed interest in space exploration, new generation of instruments in space have been regularly providing new insights about the stars, galaxies and other cosmic phenomena which have been reshaping our understanding of the universe. I am definitely looking forward to a resurgent and vibrant SPL driven by the desire to gain a fundamental and systematic understanding of the universe around us and thereby play a major role in this transformative era. Jai Hind, thank you.
This is having had some level of familiarity with this activity and also having been part of it for some time, I can see that the journey of SPD was of an extraordinary character, I may say even an extraordinary odyssey of an institution which has been born out of a greater vision regarding the India's space endeavor and being an integral part of the premier space center of this country, which is the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. I would like to thank Dr. Shivan, the dynamic and of course the restless chairman of ISRO, for asking me to be here with all of you today morning. I thought it's a very thoughtful gesture from the chairman, and knowing him, his seriousness that he is bringing about in the various activities of ISRO and the speed with which ISRO is moving, I think most of the systems that he is trying to build now today, people started characterizing it as a 40-day program, whether it's a building, whether it's a satellite, whether it's other kinds of things. So you can see that there is a high accelerative effect to space program under his leadership. And he also recognizes that besides being a good technical professional, he has a leadership quality. He has also the ability to foresee and initiate new programs. Gaganyaan is a more recent example of that. And most importantly, the importance will be given to space science. Space science intrinsically really brings out the best in terms of the ability of youngsters and the future generation to think and be creative. And then of course it produces good research work, good knowledge base, and then you have publication, you have international standing, which has the national recognition. So all those kind of, one aspect of the space science is that it does produce a good knowledge base for this society, which I think we cannot overlook. And when you ask space scientists the type of support they need on the technical, and Vikram Sarabhai is here to help them, they will always ask for the most advanced systems, systems which are currently not in place in terms of the development. So there is a challenge there, and it also produces new directions in terms of technological capability. And the third, of course, is the fact that when you talk of space science, there is not much of an inhibition, unlike in the area of technology and engineering, where US may say that this is a restricted domain, or many other countries are hesitant to collaborate with us, but for various other reasons. The space science allows the scientists to freely flow across the borders and much less of a problem. And so that is one of the elements which strengthen the international collaboration. So on all these fronts, there is a tremendous advantage in promoting space science in a space power like India. And that's what the present management recognizes. I'm extremely happy that the 50th year of the SPD is a good example of that attitude, that culture that you are trying to bring in the context of space science. And here also should not overlook the fact that I have Dr. Rao Somnath here, the director of the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. I know he has wide-ranging interest in many subjects. In fact, I should say I had the chance of working with him when I had to give some lectures, and I wanted Madhavan Nair to send somebody who can help me to prepare those lectures in areas of technology, rocket engineering, mission, and so on. And he sent Somnath, and we worked together for a day. But what was remarkable about him when I worked with him is the fact that he had very deep insight into every aspects of technology and this thing. He was not just peripheral. And really it impressed me, and I thought that he has certainly a long way to go. I'm happy to see him in the present position at the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. I'm sure he has a long way to go. And what is also equally important is that in several platforms we have shared. In fact, in India International Center we had a talk in which both of us gave. I could see that he has also this interest on the scientific aspects of many of the activities of the space. And this is another advantage, that you have a director of a space center who really appreciates the importance of the space science, and therefore the SPD can certainly take advantage of those kind of an interest in trying to boost its own interest in promoting space research. And so you have this. And then of course Dr. Radhika has just recently taken over as the laboratories director. I know her for a long time. In fact, I do remember, I can only say one example, that she sent me a paper when I was chairman about a paper he had written about some aspects of atmosphere. I failed to gather what exactly was the theme there, but it was on atmospheric science. I normally see this kind of a thing just to have a clarity in the abstract. It sounded interesting. I read through the paper, and I felt that there are many thoughtful suggestions that this paper raises. So I thought at least I should write a word to the author. So I just sent a letter immediately to the author saying that it's a very well written paper, very thoughtful, and it has got several seminal ideas which need to be pursued. And what surprisingly, when we met recently, when she had been taken over at this, she recalled that incident and said that it was very thoughtful of you. But what I want to say is, so early in her career, she had that creativity that was very clear. And today is no surprise that the VSSC chose to make her the director of the center. The SPD itself had the privilege of a long list of very distinguished leaders and visionaries, and we see the outcome of this 50 years later. It was, of course, the first of the head of this SPD was Professor P.D. Bowser. He was my guru, and so I was very proud to see him talking about the various aspects of atmospheric sciences. He is old now, he could not come, but if you go and talk to him, his mind is as sharp as ever. And so he was the first. And then we had Professor Abhinav Reddy, one of the very close colleague of mine. I had the privilege of knowing him, a top-class atmospheric scientist. Then we have here Professor B.V. Krishnamurthy, then Sridharan is here, and then Professor K. Krishnamurthy is there. I met him yesterday too. Professor Bharadwaj is there, who moved to the Physical Research Laboratory, and many others. These are some of the directors of this institute, and they have really brought their vision, their direction, and the mission that they would like to undertake in this place. And we are very clear about the way the thing as the SPD has shaped over years, thanks to their vision and director.
Conclude, I also want to tell one important thing. Today, you have brought the best guest of honor, Kasturangan sir. I think nobody can be better than him. He is the best person as the chief guest. I want to share only one experience.
The studies, we have a plasma analyzer, just sitting at the L1, night sitting at the L1 point and study the solar wind particles.